Now there's a coincidence. As I was just saying about waiting for my gauge, height gauge thing, look what just turned up from Amazon. Well, not from Amazon themselves, the driver brought it. But isn't it strange how Amazon pictures look so deceptive? I thought this was going to be a bloody huge thing. That's it. And I thought it was going to be a 10mm shaft into here. I've dropped my ball. So, unfortunately, as you get your ball out, punch, magnet, ball. Yeah, that's going to have to go back. That's far too small. I thought it was going to be a good little thing because it could. I was wanting it to go here, but it's not going to. Thread's too small. Look at the size of it. Back to the drawing board. So I just want to put this little insert in here. I sent that little red dial stand back, and I got this one the next day, and this one is brilliant. It allows us to move this arm wherever we want, and we can turn this to 90 degrees, so when we put our gauge on we can line it up right centre, smack bang centre, lock it up, and it's the end of story. So I don't know if you can see that. This was about $50. It comes on a magnetic stand. I don't know where I've put it. I put it somewhere. I think it's upstairs. But that's it. Take a good look at that one because it's brilliant for setting these up. It really is. And you can, because it's M8, you can plug it in virtually any hole in there that's M8. Right, it's about an hour later. I've got this assembly all built up now. It's really easy. Just push a bearing in, circle it, put the oil seal in, put the flange on, put the nut on, tighten it down. I've cleaned up the threads of the 3/8, put some nuts on to protect them. Most importantly on these Pumery type things is to get the sensors on the right way around. It's kind of easy to forget because it's they're both the same thread. So the one with the white plug goes on your diff lock warning light, and one with the grey plug goes on your high and low shift. Now they're kind of easy to distinguish because, I don't know if you can see in here, there's the pin. The pin on the high low is longer than the other one. So I'm going to put that on now. Getting towards the end of this job. Like I say, we've done this time and time again. I don't want to do them every day. But perhaps I've said this before. I don't know. Like I say, I've done so many now. I don't know. What I do here nowadays, instead of putting the bolts through here, I put two studs in, and these two studs are off a bell housing, off like a 300 TDI, 200 TDI, and they're perfect. If you put the long part of the stud sticking out, the bottom part just is flush with the inside, so there's no chance of you putting a bolt and hitting the teeth of the geary things and causing them to chip, which then goes flying around and around the transmission. So the next thing is, we're going to put this cover on. We're going to put some RTV sealer on there. I noticed there's a bit of sealer on there. Somebody's been in this before, because I don't know why, but they've been in it before. Box this up, and then all we need is that shim, that tube that goes in here. So I'm going to go down to JP's because I think I mentioned that the gear was a little bit tight, so we want a tube that's a little bit longer, tiny bit longer, maybe 1/1000 of an inch longer. So like I said, the next thing is sealer on here and pop this on. Right, so I just got back from JP's because what I'd done is I'd put the bush in here. This is the original bush out of this gear, and I put new bearings in, but it was still just a bit too tight. So I went down to see JP this morning at 8:30, and I said, what do you think? So I took a new bush down that we cut down the other day, and he machined this bush to 1/1000 of an inch taller on this bush, and it turns really well now. It was just, I know you have to put preload on these things, but the problem was it was like notchy preload. That was no good, it was too much. So now I'm going to fit this into here. Where's my pin? There's the pin. Oh yeah, now this is what I was going to say to you in this video. Spit this out. One real important thing about these pins is there's a shoulder on here. Just take a file and file this off, because you can bet your bottom dollar as soon as you put this through it'll cut the O-ring. It's like a knife. Yeah, so I'm going to file that off, and then we're going to put this pin through here, and you'll probably see here I didn't put this bolt in because I knew I had to take it out, because you just can't get it quite in, you know what I mean? So anyway, let me file this up, we'll come back. That's the sort of thing you're aiming for on the pin. This is a used pin, this is the original pin, but it's in good condition. And just round it off, and then to finish it off, put it on the wire wheel and the grinder, it makes it nice and smooth. So we're going to put some Vaseline inside that bush, inside here, around here. And you can use oil, it doesn't really matter, it's just I've got Vaseline there. Then we're going to oil the bearings. That's that one. And then this one here. And then we can do our magic. So we've got to keep this clean as well. I know the bench is a bit of a mess, but we're going to go down to here. And this is why I don't need a dummy bearing now. I use this dismantling tool available in the shop, and I'm going to put the gear set on there and slide it in. So you don't want it to go too far. There you go. And the gear set go like that. You can line it up like that. Get the pin, put some oil on it just for good luck. Line it up. Should come through the bottom. This one doesn't seem to want to go. Where is it now? There we go. Perfect. With the shaft knocked through, knock it all the way through, and there's a couple of things you want to check. Make sure there's no rubber round here so you've cut the O-ring. If there is, take it out, put another O-ring in, and this is one of the reasons why we round off that curve, because otherwise it'll just chop the O-ring. Now, the flat goes to the top, to this bolt hole here. If it doesn't, simply put the nut on and keep turning it till it goes into that position. So the next thing I'm going to do is put the locking ring on, and then, where's it gone? Here. I'm going to put a little bit of thread locker on there, put that into there and give it a little nip up. That doesn't want too much. The nut on. I'm going to go to this side. I haven't got much room here, but you'll see. This has got the sensor on here. I already put it on, but just be careful you don't knock it with any bars or anything. It's so easy to do. If in doubt, take it off. This doesn't really apply to TDIs, but this being a Puma, that little sensor looks kind of expensive, and it's fragile. Made of cheese. So we tighten that down like that, and then 88 Newton meters. So we'll set our torque wrench going. We'll just calibrate it just a second. There you go, 88 Newton meters. That's all she's given. So that's that. So now we'll go to the other side and look at this tipped up and see what it sounds like. And there we are, listen. The sound of silence. It's lovely, that. I wish you could turn it with me. It's absolutely bloody lovely. There's no gear noise, no clunkiness, even if I turn it backwards. You get more noise out of the ratchet. What's it like to turn it by hand? That's the only play in it. And where is that play? Oh, that's on the spline that goes into the ATB unit. So I mean, it's not much. You know, it's not much, but I don't think it'll get any better. Next job. Oh, I know what we're going to show you. Just wait a minute, I'll get set up. So we're going to have a quick look at this. You can see here there's the silicones come out, you know, the high-low sill. But I just like to get a little prick and go around it like this, look. Push that right into tight into the corner and then underneath. And look at that. What a difference that makes. Doesn't it look nice? So we're going to do that with everything up here. We've got another bit here, look. There you see, we can cut that into that corner. Come down a bit. It is sometimes a bit tricky, but if you get it into the corner, you'll get it. It's just when it's been smeared over somewhere else. There you see. And that's it. Makes it look, well, not $1 million, more like $57.39, but it just adds to the finish, doesn't it? And then it looks like it's been done properly. Well, it has been done properly, I hope. Right, let's get it cleaned up and put the cover on. Up until the last 5 or 6 transfer cases I've done, I always change my ideas how I do things. And I used to put the sealer on this plate here. I've changed my mind now. I actually put the sealer on the box, because if you're in between the bolts it's going to be nice and easy, and then you can make a nice seal all the way around. And we're going to do that right now. So we'll get our sealer to come down like this. We don't really want it in the thread holes, but it seems to work quite well. Like that. And you can come across here. And then you're right on the very edge of the box, because here it's just a bit of a guesswork. And then when it spludges out, it spludges in on the outside. And you can see a better marking. I don't know, we'll try it. See if this is a better system. It's got the makings of it anyway. Right, we just want some thread locker, which I did have. Right, I've got a pocket full of bolts here, all requiring thread locker. This stuff is very thin. It wicks into the bolts. I'll just put a few on for now. I clean all the bolts up in the wire brush on the grinder. Right, let's get our gun out. Ooh, I missed a bit there. There. And just make sure it's a continuous band. Like I say, I missed a bit there. I was talking to you. And bolt. Offer up the plate. Move it round a bit. Squeeze it around. And the thread. Oh, need to go down a bit here. That's it. I'm just whizzing down a bit. Not too much. Not yet. A little bit round on this side, that you can see. Now we can put all the bolts in. No, don't tighten them up until all the bolts are in the holes. Very tempting. Very easy to do as well. A couple there I've missed. Now just a little nip down. Don't rattle them down too much. That's all you need. This is why I don't like big impact goals. This is just right for those type of bolts. So that is it. All I need to do now is let that silicone dry, clean it off, and then we'll do a smoke test. So I think we'll wrap that there. There's nothing else we can do to it, but it really does turn nice. I'm very impressed with that. So if you, I'll just tell you now. So if you've got a diff problem, don't even consider repairing it. Just get one of those ATBs. And another thing, instead of buying a fancy roof rack and big wheels and lights and stuff like that, I'd invest my money in one of them so it's a nice, quiet, smooth drive. Honestly, that's where my money would be going. You can keep your fancy lights. Right, see ya.